Testing. This looks like my voice is. Just a second. Okay. Now it's better. Okay. Okay. I will announce it that we have started. And check if everything is good on my end. Okay. Okay. So many cables here. Okay, let me sit into my original position. So everyone, welcome. Please let us know if you can hear us and see us well. There is no lag. Please let me know. Hölgyek, urak, tudassátok velünk, hogy jó-e a stream minőség, nincs lag, jó-e a hang, és akkor utána kezdünk. Szia, Bea! Let me know, ladies and gentlemen, if we can start. Minden rendben? Biztos? Lehet hallani is? Okay. Okay, they are saying everything is fine, so let me know if we can actually start.
Whenever you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
So welcome everyone in the very new episode of my Dev Live show. I'm today joined with Antonio, who is the creator of the game called Toy Tactics, and I'm very honored and very thankful that he joined us for today's episode. And like I'm always saying, let's start with a little bit of introduction. So please introduce yourself for us.
Okay. I'm Antonio. I'm an informatics engineer here from Spain. I've been developing games for 18 years now. And we created Kraken Empire like 14 years ago.
Okay.
And we made a game that was called Chromaya. We received a few awards. It was it's a game. It's difficult to describe. It's a shoot 'em up, but it's 3D, 6 degrees of freedom, so you can move freely on an open space, and it's all physics based. So you move your spaceship by applying forces. So it's kind of a very unique experience on how to fly in space. And then we developed a few other games and a few other experiences. We created a game that's called High Score Science, for example. That's a kind of quiz game to learn science. So you can answer science questions and then see a scientific question and scientific answer about why the correct answer is the right one and not the other ones.
I see.
And then we were already developing this game, Toy Tactics, from it started like 8 years ago. So we have been developing this game until yesterday. There was the launch date, and we are still trying to finish the ports. So we will launch the game in PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One and Series S and X, and Nintendo Switch in the next couple of months, more or less.
Okay. Thank you for that. Okay, so my very first question would be, what was your very first contact with video games as a player and also as a developer?
As a player, I was 6 years old. Okay. I was an engineer from a very early age, so I wanted to know how everything machine worked and how everything worked in general. So I liked to learn and to read about, I don't know, nuclear power plants or cars or, I don't know, anything. I wanted to know everything about how machines worked.
I see.
And then I discovered a video game for the first time, an arcade game that was called Ghost and Goblins.
Okay.
You probably have played that.
Nice.
Very hard game, but very beautiful.
Yeah,
so it was
true.
First time I was impressed, and I didn't understand how it worked. it was like this is magic. I can move a joystick and move a character on a television left and right and shoot. And I was 6 years old, and I was impressed. So that was the first contact, and I was impressed forever. So I wanted to know how that worked on the inside. It was
I see.
it was years before I could understand anything about how video games work. So it was very interesting. That was my first contact as a gamer. As a developer, I studied informatics engineer,
I see.
and yeah, I could create my own projects. It was like some subjects will allow you to do anything as long as you fulfill some requirements.
I see.
And I was always creating video games, even though my teachers were recommending not to do that because creating video games was very hard and time consuming. So I probably failed other subjects because of that. So
So you were rebelling against the system,
yeah,
we could say.
it was I couldn't avoid it. So it somehow I liked so much creating video games that
I see. I see.
it was like what I wanted to do. So when I finished my career, I sent my CV to every video game development company here in Spain, and I entered one. So I went to Madrid and worked here. I worked there for 5 years, something like that, and then I created my own studio.
Have you always
That's
had the
kind
idea,
of
by the way, for creating your own studio back then when you like started working for other companies?
No, I just wanted to create video games. I wanted to
I
create,
see.
specifically, I like very much artificial intelligence in video games.
I see.
So I wanted to do something like that. But the problem is that when I wanted to do something new, I had to create my own company. I had no other choice. So to create my own game, I had to make everything.
So it's
And
the creative
not,
mastermind that was always in you, right? We could say.
yeah, yeah, I wanted just to create games, but now yeah, I'm directing a studio. That's not exactly what I want to do, but
I see.
it's what I had to do, I guess.
Was it hard to leave the company that you were working for, by the way, to create your own studio? Was it a hard choice back then?
It was um, it was at some point it was difficult because you have to start from scratch and you have
Okay.
to leave your job and create your own project from in that time. You had no Unity or Unreal. Unreal was $1 million. So we couldn't pay that. So we had to create our own game engine almost from scratch, and that was hard. So it took us like 5 years to build a game
I see.
because we had to build the engine and then the game. So it was really hard to create a game. But the game was nice, and it was a different approach into space games.
I see.
So it was a nice experience. We signed a contract with Rising Star, that were they were a publisher that was between Japan and Britain.
Okay.
So they were kind of importing games from Japanese the game developers into Europe or the Occidental world. And they liked our approach, and we signed with them, and we published the game, and it worked pretty well.
I
So
see.
it was nice,
Do you think like
but hard.
I see. I see. Okay. And do you think like the reason because you started creating your own engine made easier for you and your team making your games in your own engine? Do you think like it made easier?
I think an engineer in my soul, so
Okay.
I guess it was not. It was hard because it's
Or
a
it
lot of
gave you more
work.
space to create what you wanted.
Yeah, at that moment, it allowed us to create a different game.
I see.
At that moment in 2010, that was the time we started developing Gromaya. That was our game.
Okay.
If you tried to create a game with Unreal Engine or Unity in that time had only 7 games published. So it was very new, and it was probably unknown by most. So at that time, engines were very expensive to execute. I mean, even expensive at money, but they were very, they had a very bad performance.
I see.
Okay, in Unreal Engine, you could only have like 3 or 4 enemies at the same time, so that was very limiting to
I
your
see. I
gameplay.
see.
If you play the first Years of War or something like that,
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
see you always have like very three, four, five enemies.
Yeah,
They are hard
exactly.
enemies. They are strong enemies, but just a few,
Yeah,
because those engines were not supporting many objects at the same time,
I
many
see. I see.
players, many characters. Okay, in our game, when we created our own engine, we were able to have 1,000 physical objects moving real time,
Okay.
and we could create a black hole and have 1,000 asteroids falling into the black hole and
Wow.
rotating and everything. That was amazing. That was the only way to experience something like that. So we created a game that was physics based, was very complex, and supported this kind of scenes, this kind of film scenes that you can play and experience in first person. And it was the first time you could do that because our engine was very performant. So it was a nice approach into a different way to play. If we had done that with Unreal or Unity, it would be a very different experience.
I
So you
see.
can have, in our game, it's a space shoot 'em up. So you have like 50, 100 enemies at the same time in the screen, and that works perfectly. So it's nice to try. We were just two programmers making that game, so our graphics are like spheres, cubes, and we have a lot of shaders and particle effects. So everything is spectacular, but simple graphics, programmer art in a good way, something like that. We even received some graphics awards. That was strange for us as we are programmers, but it was kind of Tron-esque aesthetic, and that was interesting, unique and new at that time. Probably not so much today.
I see. Okay. By the way, a personal question. So when you first like started making your own games and following your dream path, were your family members and close friends supportive about your decision that you want to make games and you're more of a person who are into games, and how do you feel about that?
It's difficult for me because my parents don't understand me making games, so they don't play games and they don't like games. So I was at some point I thought they were going to accept that when I was earning money or something like that.
Okay.
But I read an interview. I think it was Cliff Besinski, and he was saying in the interview, yeah, my parents, he was directing Gears of War at that moment, I think, and they published and it was a success. And I remember an interview and he was saying, oh yeah, my parents are still waiting for me to get a real job. So it was like, okay, I think that's going to be the same for me. I'm not going to get out of that. So no, my parents don't understand that. And yeah, it's I think it's more like a personal uh, need or a personal approach, but not so much supported by my environment
I
or
see.
something like that.
I see. And how do you felt about that? That they are not supportive about your decision? Was it
Uh,
something you were like sad about or depressed, or it wasn't like anything
no,
at all,
I,
or you didn't
I
care
think
about that?
no, I don't care so much. I think I'm that kind of person that's motivated by people saying to you that you can't do that.
Oh, okay.
So I think that even empowers me more. In here in Spain, I'm from an area that's called Aragon. That's my place in
Okay.
here in Spain, and we are known in Spain because we are very stubborn. We are very we're very directed into something, and we don't stop until we uh, get to the end in some way.
I
So
see.
I think that's my power and my
Superpower.
uh, yeah, it's a superpower, but also um, uh, I don't get the word.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
It's dangerous at the end, okay? Because if you are stubborn and you go in the wrong direction all the time, you can just hit a wall or something. So
Yeah, but you can
it's
now, or at that time, if you hit the wall, you can search for another path, right? So
yeah,
because you
yeah.
will always want to like reach them, like you said before. Yeah.
Yeah, at the beginning of my career, I was worried that if I get so much into video games, maybe when I have to leave video games because that doesn't work, something,
I see.
I wouldn't find a work, another job or something. So I was worried about that at the beginning, but I found out that that's what not real. That you working in video games is kind of hard, and you are so stressed and working in so very difficult problems that when you leave video games, you're easily hired in other positions. So with that out of the out of the problem, I could concentrate more and just go for video games all in and try my best.
I see. I see. And when you realize that actually you can make money out of making video games and you can make a living and it can be like a dream come true for you, were there any time that you still like questioned yourself and your future after that you realized that okay I can
Yeah, every day I think. I
okay
think
okay but
because
why
it's difficult because you create right now we have created a game, Toy Tactics. I think the tactics is awesome. It's the best I can do by far. My team is great, and we have created a great project. And but it's difficult because you have to create the game. We are very good at creating games, and you can try the game. It's awesome, but we don't know how to sell it. So even though you're very good making games and you can create something
marketing
that's
the
new
evil
and
of companies,
original,
right?
yeah, marketing is very difficult and
Yeah, I
kind
agree.
of unfair. And that's the most depressing thing about video games, that you
Yeah,
can make a great game and just be ignored, and it's difficult to cope with that because you don't have the tools, you don't know how to
exactly.
break that barrier,
And
and
especially
that's
it's so
hard.
many games out there, right? So you have to compete, not
Yeah.
in a real way, but to compete for people's attention. And also, in my opinion, like those creators who are really passionate about making games, they are not focused that much on marketing themselves, right? So yeah, it's
No, I'm
hard.
not. I'm an engineer and
Yeah,
I
you
create
don't
games.
care.
I
You
create.
don't care. Like
No,
you want to sell your game, but you don't care about how. So yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know
You
even
believe
how
in
to
the
do it.
process that people will
Yeah.
get get that your game is out there and play it. Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah,
It's
you
hard.
always think that if your game is good enough, it's going to work
Yeah, true,
somehow.
true, true, true.
But that's not true. You need
It
some.
could be true, right? It could
It
be,
could
but
be.
it's
Could be.
not. Yeah,
It could be, but it's very difficult because you have to reach, I don't know, big YouTubers or content creators or Twitters, and they have to try the game and recommend. And I don't know, it's difficult to reach that position. And so many games, so many good games, are released every day or every week. That's really difficult to get your game
true,
into
true,
into
true,
uh,
true,
into the
true.
wheel. So
And
the
I
problem.
also believe that the problem is really about that the like the official video game journalism has flipped a lot because like nowadays it's more like influencers, youtubers, twitch streamers who are selling the products, not really journalists, especially because I feel like journalists, official video game journalists in most of the countries are not promoting most of the indie sphere, the most of the indie games or smaller games, and I feel like that's a real problem because I remember when I was used to be a kid and playing all these video games like I play now with passion. There were a lot of magazines which like had all these games, even if they were like not that big, like not AAA games, but they still have been promoted in a good way, and I feel like that's the real problem nowadays, that even video game journalists and even like influencers are making into this cancel culture era where they like judge and criticize video games rather than just not, I wouldn't say just promote, but like to have this opportunity for people to see the game, and actually you should decide as a viewer of that stream, for example, a youtube video or article, that okay, I would like to buy it or I don't want to buy it. But I feel like the real problem, as I see it from a player and video game journalist and Twitch streamer side, is that a lot of these people who trying to like promote these games, they promote it in a very bad way because they are too harsh about their opinions, and it makes like people not wanting to even try out the game. Although all of the games on Steam have demo, right? So they could try out a game and have their own opinions, but like a lot of players are sheep-minded. Sorry for saying that, but it's true. They're just going with the crowd, and if their favorite streamer will say that okay, it's a bad game, don't try it out, it sucks, they will say the same. and it's very sad. And that's why I started Dev Life like 1 year ago, because I felt it's a very bad thing. And as a passionate player myself, who is trying to play with every game and trying to show the people that okay, these are great games, try it out for yourself, and you will find the fun factor in every game. Just you need to have been open-minded about it. It's hard because I feel like it's most people who are like promoting these games, like I said before, they are not the right ones, because like it's not about just promoting and not just about like saying okay, it's a good game. No, it's letting the players try out themselves the games. Like you cannot force them to like not try it out and say it sucks. And I think that's the biggest problem right now in the industry. And for me, I want to change that. I know I'm just a smaller person in the industry, but yeah, but like when I worked for a lot of video game companies, my story is similar to yours, because like when I worked for video game companies as a video game journalist, they always wanted me to scores like due to Metacritic scores, and I hated that, and I quit most of the companies and I went into freelance, because I realized that okay, I'm not that person who is criticizing the games. I rather like make reviews which can show how the game works or what is it about in like a poetic way. Like we used to like review poems in schools. I always bring up this example. Like when we used to like reviewing poems in schools, we didn't judge it, we didn't like saying harsh opinions about poems, right? And we didn't score poems. We wasn't saying like okay, this poem or this book is, I don't know, 5 out of 10. It would be a stupid thing to say, right? Why do we even then say the same things to video games or movies? Like it's not correct in my opinion. I know it's a very rare opinion, which is mine, but I think that's the main problem, because like I said, I can see a lot of like streamers and
Yeah.
influencers saying so many harsh things about games, even though they cannot understand that it's real human beings who are making these games, and it's not just a click. So
Yeah, you're right, and there are a few factors that have destroyed some visibility for indie developers like us. I think one of the first ones is that 10 years ago, I felt that press was trying um, to find every possible game in the market and
exactly,
explain how it
exactly,
worked
exactly,
and show everyone and so that games could find
exactly,
their target.
exactly,
That was awesome. But
exactly.
today, I feel that press is only mm, talking about games that are already famous
Or
and
paid for it.
yeah, or yeah, and so it's not they're not discovering new games. They
Exactly,
are kind of reinforcing games that you already know
exactly,
and just receiving clicks from people that already know that game, so it's not the same kind of press that was there
exactly,
10 years
exactly,
ago. And if we leave everything for content creators, and they are probably not professionals
true,
and they are
true,
not
true,
so
exactly,
specialized and, or
exactly. Yes.
formed, probably they are kind
Thank you
of
for
this.
saying that. Yeah,
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 yeah, they're probably not
yeah.
they're just normal people talking about
Exactly,
video games in the way they like,
exactly.
and sometimes they compare indie games with I don't know,
Triple A
GTA.
games. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, exactly,
that hurts the comparison too because it's not the same. It's not the same
exactly,
price. It's not the same experience, and probably indie games have or offer a different experience that you're not going to find in the AAA market, and you
exactly,
have to value that too.
exactly.
And probably, yeah, if you set a score, probably the score of the indie game is going to be lower than the one from GTA or Zelda or anything. But probably those games have a value and have a target,
True,
and maybe you have to find the target for those people. So
true, true. And maybe
today
for
we
them
are,
it's a 10 out of 10, right? So
yeah, yeah, that's it. And probably today we're so focused in trends that's kind of all or nothing. It's you're famous for 2 days. It's this game is awesome. You
yeah,
have to play this today, but tomorrow it's a different game.
exactly,
We
exactly.
have this kind of cycle. You have to a new game every week or every
Yeah,
3 days, and it's the only game famous. It's the only game that content creators play. If you go to Twitch now,
yeah. Like people are
uh,
not loyal anymore to things, right? Or
no,
to
no.
movies or games. Yeah, exactly, exactly.
And everyone is playing the same game at the same time. It's
Yeah,
kind of like there's only one game, and today they launch 50,
yeah,
and probably different people is going to prefer different games. But it's kind of you have to play
yeah,
this,
yeah.
even it's not your genre, it's not your idea, your gameplay, your I don't know. It's kind of the current trend is this one, and
Yeah.
this is the only thing is going to be famous today. And entering that trend is so difficult that it's more
Exactly.
impossible for an
Exactly.
indie like
And
ours.
what's interesting that you have been saying this, that I always say on my stream and to my friends and to my community members as well, that I feel like the problem with gaming in general becoming or become a mainstream thing is that like a lot of players who enter the gaming era or video game industry as players, they are, I always call them in a funny saying like trend gamers, because like they are not passionate, they are just playing a game like once per week or once per month, and but they are still judging those games on the internet with their harsh opinions, and they are forming those games because a lot of developers are, or publishers are willing to force developers to push those games in another way if a lot of people will say negative things about it. And I think that's a very bad thing in video game industry, because those people complain the most about video games who are not like passionate players but just trend gamers. I always joke about this when a random guy gets killed with an RPG and a Quake tournament guy, and he will Quake tournament game, and he will like cry, "Oh my god, RPG is too OP. Please, developers, take away RPG for the game." But no, man, you should like learn how to deal with the RPG. Like you had the possibility to do that in the past like 10 years, and people did that, right? When I was a kid, we learned how to deal with RPG or one hit sniper in Quake games, or I could name any games back then. And it's the same like mentality should be in players nowadays as well. But those people who like grow up becoming like these trend gamers, I say, they are not having this mentality. And it's weird, like I remember myself as a kid being bullied because I was playing video games. Now it's like everyone is playing video games, and like what the hell, what's happened like in 10 years, right? And I remember myself as a kid always wanting to be in this era, and now I want to go back and even like be bullied and just not having those many people playing games, because it's not good. Like I can see the like the two sides of the same coin, and I can see the bad side of that coin, because I feel like you can't even have a proper conversation with most of these players, because like for example you bring up for them toy tactics and they won't know about that game, because like you said, they are not informed, or they are not even open-minded and passionate about games, because most of them don't care, they just follow their favorite streamers or favorite press, and they don't get out the information for them, and it's a problem for those like me who are like passionate gamers and players. It's a problem.
Yeah, it's okay to have the most
Exactly.
people playing at the same time, so that's great. Today, every day, everyone is playing video
Yeah.
games. That's awesome. But yeah, probably having these content creators that are the ones that are creating opinion and and setting the direction of the criticism for some games that maybe they don't understand, or maybe they don't know the genre. It's problematic. It can create a trend that's not real, that's not fair, and it's just strange. It happens every time with every game, even with AAA games.
True.
The criticism against I don't know, Elden Ring or Wukong,
True.
and you see people throwing out opinions that sometimes can be plainly wrong. And okay, you
Exactly.
don't like it, that's it. You don't like it, it's not for you. It doesn't mind, it's okay. Not every game is for everyone, so
True.
it's great. If you don't like it, it's okay, just play a different thing. But
True.
it's like as you have to play it because it's the game you have to play this week or these 3 days. It's you have to play it and set your opinion and why it's good or why it's bad for you, and your opinion is okay because we all have one. But maybe you're not right just because you have 1 million followers. So
Exactly. Exactly.
it's difficult
Exactly.
today, as we have uh, this famous people uh, creating opinions for millions of people that maybe are influenced in a bad way,
True.
and they get
True.
a bad idea of what the game is about,
True. True.
or a different idea from which the one they will have got if they play the game themselves.
Exactly.
So
People were
it's
trained in the press like 10 years ago, like you said, like for how to explain games to the people who are not like video game journalists, and now it's just random people on the internet talking about games, right?
Yeah, that's a
Weird,
problem.
it changed, but it's working for them. And like I'm always saying, money makes money. So for those people, like you said, with 1 million followers, they can say whatever they want, and they can get away with it, and they will. Yeah, it's sad. It's
Yeah,
sad, but
and the
hopefully
idea,
there will be a
I think
change.
the idea that of talking about video games was to, okay, you can criticize what is wrong, or I don't know, bugs, the pace. I don't know. Some things can be really wrong, and you can talk about them. And sometimes the game is not for you, and that's not the game being wrong in any way.
Exactly, exactly,
Maybe it's I don't like horror games. Okay, don't play them.
exactly,
It's not like you play them and say, "This is horrible. This is bad made. I don't know. This is wrong."
exactly,
Maybe you are wrong. Maybe you don't have to play
exactly,
that game.
exactly.
So no, don't criticize something
Yeah,
that
but
maybe you don't
people,
understand.
when you or me saying that, people's ego is hurt, right? So they can
Oh yeah,
accept it. That's the problem. That's the main problem. Yeah.
yeah, that's a problem for all. I think game developers sometimes they have a big ego. I mean, also, and then sometimes it's difficult to accept criticism. I don't have that problem. I accept criticism all the time, and I know my game is not going to be liked by everyone, so it's okay. It doesn't mind. But yeah, we all as humans have a hard time accepting criticism, and
Yeah, but
and
it's right to say that people should criticize things if they do understand it. Like, and people
yeah,
who don't understand something, it's like I'm always saying this example of me like not playing or watching football or any sports. Although I like used to play tennis on a professional level, but I stopped, and but I wasn't watching tennis and I wasn't watching any sports, and I wasn't like talking about those sports because, for example, I wasn't understanding football or golf or I don't know, basketball, because I would feel stupid when talking about it. But I feel like a lot of people are not having this mentality of self criticism when they are speaking of anything that they do not understand, but they still can see that like they are saying stupid things about that thing. And I also could bring up this example of like I hate the fact that there are a lot of people who are like maybe cannot pay for a game because they don't have enough money at the end of their month, which is fine, right? So that's their problem, their issue of life. But they will rather say that, okay, this game sucks, rather than saying, okay, I don't have money for it. And I saw that a lot of times, even between my friends or my community, like people were judging games that they are like very expensive to buy, but the game sucks because of that. Like it's stupid, right? So why do you say that? Like say like I don't have money for it. So people's mentality on like judging things, especially video games that we are talking about now, is very weird in my opinion.
yeah. Sometimes because we have to justify our situation or our decision.
Exactly,
Sometimes
exactly.
if you
But it's
can't,
like I said before, it's ego, right? Because they are
yeah,
afraid that their ego will hurt by saying, okay, I don't have money for it.
yeah, or you can pass through a boss or some level or
Exactly,
something, and you say
exactly.
this game is bad because
Yeah, yeah,
I
because
can
you
go
are
through.
bad at it. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, exactly.
yeah. Maybe it's hard. That's
Yeah,
okay,
but
but
that's
maybe it's
not
not
for you
for
then.
you.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah. But it's funny because some years ago it was that would happen a lot, and I think that the Souls-like games changed that mind. It was like if a game was too difficult, it was a was a bad game. It has some problem, and you have to make it easier or something like that. But then Souls games appeared, and they showed people that no, no, this game is difficult. If you don't like difficult games, don't play this. And it changed the mind of a lot of people. And today is not so common to see this kind of opinion. Like it's hard, so it's a bad game. So today,
exactly,
sometimes it's hard. It's like, oh, it's hard, it's challenging. So you have to enter the game with a different mentality. That's great. But we have to get to this mentality in a lot of different ways.
exactly,
That maybe if you don't like it, maybe if you it's too hard, maybe it's not for you, and it's okay. It's no problem. Just can you think of people that could like this kind of game? Maybe it's hard. You don't want to, I don't know, train to kill a boss.
sure,
That's
sure.
okay. But can you think of people that can like this gameplay about training to get better so you can beat a boss in no time? There are people for every kind of gameplay.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so going back to the past of your life when you started making your own games, like for the very first game of yours, like how did you had your idea and what influenced you of creating your very first game?
For Chromaya,
Yeah.
um, I wanted to create when we were think first ideas about creating a game. We were programmers, so we had no abilities to model organic things or people or anything.
Okay.
So we center in vehicles. So we wanted to create a tank game. And as we were going to base everything on physics, and I wanted to physics to be very present in the game, I wanted to make this kind of hovering tanks, trying to levitate in the ground, something like that. So I wanted to use four propellers that could stabilize the tank and something like that. And it was fun to see a tank moving, floating on the ground and receiving hits and oscillating this kind of thing. But it was very easy to flip the tank, and it was hard to keep the game stable and keep the tank stable
I see.
and move properly. So I had a very hard time trying to make this tank hover perfectly. But then I at some point I said it's difficult to stabilize, but the forces are working great. What happens if I remove gravity and try to just move in space? So I converted the tank game into a space game, and it was fun to fly around and use physics to. And you could use physics to push the ship forward or to turn the ship, applying to opposite forces at different points, so you could rotate. So I started playing with this, and I liked very much how it moved. So it's very fluent and natural, and I like the way to fly with that kind of physics and situation. So I started creating this space game from there. So we changed tanks into spaceships, and then we built a world related with physics and not having up and down. It was everything kind of open world with no up and down, with full free movement, and trying to move in that environment and survive waves of enemies. So that was the origin of the game.
I see. Okay. And when you completed this game, or you were on the journey of completing this game of yours, the very first game of yours, you already had like ideas for your next games, or that developed throughout the time after you finished your first game?
You always have hundreds of ideas. The problem is you don't
Okay.
have time or money to execute them.
Okay.
It happens to me now also. I have a lot of different ideas, but I haven't started anyone. So
Okay.
it's you always even when you're developing a game, you always have a new idea that's, oh, I should do this other game. I should remove this and forget about this and make this other thing. That's going to be great because it's going to be awesome. I like this. I don't know what. And that happens all the time. You are all the time thinking about new games, new ideas,
I see.
new experiences, and you have to reject them and stay in your project. So, as I told you before, I'm very stubborn, so I'm very concentrated on finishing things. That's the important thing in video games. So, I always have a lot of different ideas, but I try to keep them away
I see.
until I finish one.
I
Yeah.
see. I see. And were there times throughout the journey of being a game developer as yourself when you had to cut very core aspects of your own ideas or games? And was it hard
Yeah,
to cut those ideas out from the game that you have developed?
that's very hard. Even more when you have to throw work away and you have done something, it's already working
I
and
see.
already ready for the game, and it doesn't work, and you have to remove it, and that hurts because it's like weeks of work you have to throw away and forget, and that's hard. It happens a lot. You're always thinking new ideas, you're always adding new things to the game, and sometimes you have to just for the good of the game, you have to remove them
I see.
and forget forever. Yeah. Well, for example, in Toy Tactics, that's recent example. We implemented a way to uh, get the levels of your units up, so you could
Okay.
upgrade the attack, the defense,
I
and
see.
the movement of every unit. And we have this, we have everything. We have the gameplay, we have the interface to upgrade your units and everything. And we have to remove that because it was making balancing very difficult.
I see. I see.
So it was going to break the game at some point.
I
So
see.
we had to, for the good of the game and making it simpler and everything easier, we had to remove that. But it was already implemented. It was ready. It was nice because you could have stronger infantry or faster cavalry. So you could empower whatever you prefer about different units. But it was very difficult to understand because you didn't have any visual information about what this unit is empowered
I see,
on,
I see.
or what's so it was kind of things happening under the hood in the game.
I
So
see.
you have
So
no
player cannot
information.
understand it if they are trying to
Yeah,
level up their characters or units. Yeah,
so it made the game more difficult to play, more difficult to understand, and even more complex for multiplayer. So we had to reject that kind of idea. Yeah.
I see. And were there times, by the way, when you like cut out something for your games, like you went back to those cut it out things, and you like tried to implement it back somehow, or some way that you realized, okay, now it would work in some way, some
Uh,
other way.
we try to get a new idea that's better than that one,
I see, I
and
see, I see, I see.
easier and simpler to implement and to understand. For example, for that one, instead of leveling up the different aspects of the units, we created something that we call relics,
Okay,
and you apply relics into your units,
I see.
and different relics have different effects. So, but you only have three relics for each one of your units, and you can apply one of them, only one, at the same time. And so you can do something with that unit and apply usually it's a passive effect that's going to improve the performance of some unit in some specific way. That's that's interesting because you can kind of upgrade your army in some way. So, for example, necromancers you can upgrade units to make them uh, able to I don't know, die and revive again, or revive units around, or you can empower this necromancy aspect, or you can empower a different aspect. For example, avoiding hits, or you can empower corruption
I
and
see,
making damage in an area.
I see.
Or you can set different relics in your units, so you can play with the relics together with the spells. So you combine the effects of everything and change your way to play that army. That's something interesting. Much more interesting than making them stronger, faster,
I see, I see.
or more defense.
Gives
Get
like
the idea?
more freedom to the player in
Yeah,
that
it's kind
case.
of more. Um,
More variety, we could say.
I I I will say it's more centered in the kind of gameplay you are creating for that army
I
because
see,
for example, our Roman army is more centered in building and healing and
I
this kind
see,
of
I
things,
see, I see, I see,
but our samurai army is centered in stealth.
I
So you
see.
can hide in the fog, you can make units disappear, you can ambush the enemy. So you have spells and relics that are centered into that too.
I see, I
So
see, I see, I
it's
see.
kind of
So it's more
thematic.
connected.
Yeah, it's kind of every time you're playing a new army, it's kind of okay. I have everything set in this direction, so you can make samurai army. I don't know. You can make them stronger and make them more samurai, or you can make them more ninja and more stealthy. So you can play in different ways, and you can empower the thing you prefer about this army using spells and relics, and not only power, speed, and defense.
I see,
I think it's more interesting for the player.
I see. Okay. And so we were talking about like the difficulty of the game. So with your games, what was the goal of the difficulty setting of your games?
With Chromaya, we were thinking about making a shoot 'em up.
Okay,
So it was kind of a 3D bullet hell, something like that. So it was a niche game. It was a difficult game for lovers of the genre that wanted to go farther away. You have played a lot of 2D shoot 'em up, so go jump into the 3D and try a 3D shoot 'em up. It was kind of a specific game for specific people, and was hard in some way. Not so hard because at the end, as you have free movement and you can do anything, you can always find a way to cheat. Let's say to find your expertise somehow. Maybe you prefer dodging, you prefer attacking, you prefer moving forward. You're faster, you're slower, but you kill everything on screen. So we give you so much freedom that's up to you to keep the game under control for you. And we even empower that because if you play faster and you kill more enemies and you're hardcore gamer, we're going to spawn more enemies for you.
I
Okay,
see.
so
I
we
see.
kind of detect what
Balanced.
you're doing, yeah, and try to give you more challenge if you do
I
want to
see.
do that.
I see.
So we all try to adapt the difficulty for you.
I see. Okay.
In toy tactics, it's different. We tried a different approach. In fact, in Chromaya, you can even select different levels of difficulty. So if you want to play slower, that you can select at the beginning,
Okay.
and that's going to give you more time and less enemies. So you have different ways to adapt difficulty. In Joy Tactics, we don't have difficulty levels. We only have one, but every mission has three objectives. Okay, the first one is the primary objective. You have to fulfill this one to win the battle.
I see.
So that's the mandatory one, and the other two are optional, but they require you to play much better. Okay, so the idea is, okay, you're a casual player, you don't want to mess around with everything, so you go for 1 star game and you finish the main objective, and that's easy. So it's like playing easy mode. But if you want to get the 3 stars, you want to make the perfect game, you have to manage everything, and you have to, for example, you have to play and not losing any archers, for
I see.
example,
I see.
or you have to kill every unit on the map, or you have to fulfill this secondary objective. For example, defending a ship, that golden ship that has to be defended. So you have to defend your castle and that golden ship, and then you have all the 3 stars. So it's kind of a more hardcore gameplay for the hardcore players if they want to do that. Not mandatory, but optional.
Optional. I see. I see. Makes sense. Nice.
I see many times people ending a mission and saying, "Oh, I have 1 star missing. Oh man, the golden sheep died. Okay, replay, replay."
Replay.
I'm going
Yeah.
to, yeah. People is quite obsessive with that. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Love to hear that. And if you like would have to choose one of your favorite games that you have made, which would be that one?
Auto tactics is
Okay.
my children. Yeah,
Okay.
I wanted to create. My original idea was harder. Was a more hardcore game.
I see.
It was more simpler. It was much uglier. But the final game, with all the budget we received and all the team we hired, the final game is awesome. It's perfect. It's for everyone. Uh, Children can play and enjoy the game because they love the drawing formations, and they love controlling these small units that are going to fight each other. So the game is awesome for newcomers for the genre. It's very easy to play. You only have 5 minutes to learn how to play a strategy game. Unlike most strategy games, you have to play
True.
1 hour
Yeah.
tutorial. So in our game, you can learn in 5 minutes. So that's awesome. But hardcore gamers find new ways to plan strategies
I see.
making these drawings.
I see.
So you can split your infantry in two. You can surround the enemy. You can flank with your cavalry. You can use your archers in a very specific way. You can place them in the border of I don't know, a hill or something, or you can place them in a tower. So you can do very specific strategies that probably you can do in other RTS games that are more like a square selection and send everyone to attack. We can create a very chaotic battle, and then at the middle of the battle you can say, okay, no, infantry retire. I want infantry to go back and let, I don't know, heroes go ahead and smash the enemies because a lot of infantry are coming. And then some, when you receive a cavalry charge, you can go back and change your formation positions and then move infantry to the front to stop the infantry charge. So it's very natural, and you can create very complex maneuvers just drawing lines and dragging lines around. You can move archers ahead and retire archers behind when you attack. And that's very natural. You have seen that in movies, and now you can do it with just dragging one line forward and backwards. That's very nice.
I see. I see. Okay. So I believe that all of us creators who create our own craftships or craftsmanships, like or crafts on the way, which are dreams. We always like willing to put our inner self into the
Mhm.
craft that we created. So is that true for yourself as well? Like you had experiences from your life or ideas or expressions or people or memories that you like wanted to put and you have also like put into your games, into your creations, that like even if like maybe very few people will understand, or only you will understand that. Okay, it's there because of those memories from my past. It's still
I,
there.
I think that's inevitable. So it's
Okay.
something you do even if you don't want to.
True. True.
When
True. Yeah.
we created Chromaya, uh, I didn't realize
Sorry.
until very close to the end.
Okay.
But when we finished the game, it was very clear, that it was made by two people, and one was very mathematical engineer, and one was like in this Japanese way of doing things, and telling stories.
Okay.
So there was this kind of two ways of doing things, and they were all in the game. It was
I
like
see. I see.
we both were in the game, and we were represented by the game and the gameplay and the story and
I see. I
everything.
see. I see. I see.
Now that happens with Toy Tactics, but Toy Tactics, we have worked like 50, 60 people, and everyone has added something into the game. The game is not mine
Yeah.
anymore because
Yeah.
I
Understandable. Yeah.
created the original idea, but everyone that has contributed into the game has added something, and now the game is kind of this joint ideas of everyone together, and now it's kind of the product
Like
of
an army, right?
all together.
Like an
Yeah,
army in
yeah,
your game.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you can I can see which contributions have come from different people. You can't because it's for people
I
to
wish
be
though
like.
I could see, right? So I love those things to experience. Yeah.
But it's very interesting to see how projects and games evolve
True.
depending on the
True.
people that work on them. If
True.
if
True.
my team will have be different, the game will be different too.
I see. I see. So speaking of those topics, which is your favorite unit from Toy Tactics?
Oh, that's difficult. Um, I have different. My favorite army is the undead army
Okay.
because it's the idea of killing units and then get the corpses to rise an army of
Okay.
undead. It's awesome, and I like that. And they have dinosaurs, and they are awesome. Uh, but I don't know. Maybe my favorite unit could be the necromancer, the king from the necromancer army.
Okay.
But it could be also the queen from the samurai. It's a ninja, and it's able to teleport distance and move very fast and throw kunais
Shurikens or
to
yeah.
the enemies. It's fun to use too. So there are a few units, and pirates units are awesome too. I don't know. I have many favorites. I think.
Nice. 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 Okay, so as a person who loves physical editions of video games and loves to you know have things in his hand like for video game boxes and collector's edition figurines, I can see by the way statues and figurines behind you. So my question would be, can like we see some of those in the future, like as a merchandise, be able to buy, or a
I
physical
will.
edition for PlayStation 5 or the consoles version? Are you planning to
I,
do that?
I would love to. It's
Okay.
something I wanted to do, and I in fact I tried to sign with Namco Bandai, so
Oh,
they could make the
oh,
toys and
nice.
something like that.
Oh,
Yeah, but
nice.
our project was very small for them.
I see.
But yeah, these toys
Oh my
are.
god, lovely. Love them.
That
Nice.
was the idea. In fact, they are roly-poly toys, so like in the game, they have this balance. So you apply physics into them, and they react. I love that. I wanted to have this as a toys, or make a collector edition with this this figure, so you can buy
I
one.
hope that there will be one. Let me know. Let me know. I will be the first one to buy. I love those. Nice. Nice. Nice.
Thank you.
Nice. Nice. Okay. Okay. So and when like you started your career, now seeing that you had success and you created so much awesome and great games that people love, how do you feel about, would you like regret if you haven't took the first step in order to like be on this journey of being a game developer yourself and making your own games?
I think I couldn't avoid it in any
Okay.
way. So it's a kind of a path you have to follow, and
Okay.
sometimes you can't go away from that path. Uh, the best part of creating video games, I think, it's seeing people playing them. So it's the thing I still love the most. I love people. I love seeing how people play my games, how they enjoy things, how they get angry at my characters, how they want to rematch. They insult the enemies. I love that. Or they laugh at the jokes we have created.
I see.
So
I see.
it's my favorite thing, I think.
I see. And what was so? If we were speaking about like your favorite thing throughout the developer journey of yours, what was like the worst memories of making your own games? Like, if we
Uh,
should look on the
yeah,
other
there are a
side of the
few.
coin.
Yeah, for this game we had to sign contracts several times, and
Okay.
we have to receive rounds of funding several times. And the last one was we always die in the process. So probably
Okay.
those moments in which you have to or you're about to die because you don't have money to survive more months. And it's like I have only 2 months time to sign a contract, or I'm dead. I have to fire everyone and stop the project, and
I
I
see.
don't know if I'm going to be able to continue. Maybe those moments are the worst of all because
I see.
it's probably your end. As a director of a company, you're always seeing ways in your which you're going to die. No, it's like if this happens, I'm going to die. If this happens, I'm going to die. If I don't get money in 3 months, I'm going
There
to
will be
die.
no
So it's
rematch for you, right? So it's not like a
yeah,
video game.
there's no replay or
Yeah.
something.
True. True.
So
True.
yeah,
True.
so maybe that's the hardest part when you direct studio, and of course it's a problem for you because you have a project and everything, but it's a problem for your workers too, and you have hired people and fired them. It's a problem for them too. So it's kind of a drama
I see. I see.
situation for everyone,
Have you ever
for
had to
you, for
fire
your
somebody,
project.
by the way? Have you
Oh yeah,
ever? I see. Was
yeah,
it very hard? Was it very hard for
it
you?
is. It is.
Okay.
And you always wish you can hire them again soon. In fact, I had to fire most of my team at some point and rehire them soon enough, and with some time in advance to tell them that it was possible. But that's hard. That's hard because you have to fire people, and you don't know for real if you can hire them when you fire them.
Were they
You are going to be
understanding
able to do it.
your choice, by the way?
Yeah,
I see. I see.
yeah. Luckily, they understand the situation and why and what happened and what was the best for the project, because it's always the best for the project and for the people and for all. And it worked at that moment. But now I have to fire everyone too if the game is not working. So that's again, that's a problem too. I don't know if the next game is going to be bigger or smaller, or if there is going to be a game in any case. So
I
that's
hope
again
so
hard.
because your games are awesome, and I would like you to see with your team to make and creating new games like Toy
Thank you.
Tactics.
I hope so too, but
Yeah.
it's always something you can't uh, make sure. It's
True. True.
something that's going to happen. You have no control about that.
True. 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 Yeah. Okay. Before I ask you some more questions, are you down to answer some questions from my community as well?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
let me know.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen on the stream, let us know if you have any questions. Hölgyek, urak, hogyha bármi kérdés van, akkor nyugodtan kérdezzetek, és talán én is kérdezek még. So if you have any questions, let us know. Let us know, let us know. Ha bármi kérdésetek van, nyugodtan kérdeztek. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm correct, I shared the link to Toy Tactics, but I will share it again on the stream chat so you can check out the game. Please do that. Let me highlight it. Okay. Let us know if there is any question. Hölgyek, urak, hogyha bármi kérdés van, nyugodtan kérdeztek. Can you see yourself, by the way, before we go into any questions that people might have? So can you see yourself in the future as making games even if you won't see that you know good attention from people that you would like to see and you would like to get? Like, can you see that future for you, for yourself?
I think I can't avoid it,
Okay,
but I see myself with I don't know. It depends on the always on the success you get
I
from
see.
your previous game. So
I see.
otherwise, it's a kind of a roller coaster of having a lot of energy to create games and losing energy for creating games. So it's kind of a roller coaster. I don't know what's going to happen, but I see myself making games somehow for a long time. Yeah.
I see. And how do you deal with that on an emotional level, with this roller coaster ride that you have mentioned
Uh,
in everyday life? Like, what keeps you being motivated throughout the journey and not like give up or not say, okay, I'm done. It's hard, or I don't know.
I don't know. It's difficult to create games. It's difficult for me to abandon a project.
Okay.
I think I can't do that. So I think that's my main motivation. I don't know where that motivation comes from. It's like my stubborn
Yeah, like you were talking about that
mentality.
before. Yeah,
Yeah, I think the difficult part is to start a new one because every time you start a new project, you know what's going to come, and that's probably harder. But keeping doing the project is more, it's easier, it's more natural for me.
I see. I see.
But the difficult part is to say, okay, I'm going to compromise this project. This is what I'm going to do for the next 2 years. That's the hard part, I think.
I see. And from that, what you have said just now, is it also like hard for you to let go your older projects as well, like your older games that you have finished?
Yeah, yeah, it is.
I
It
see.
is because you never see your project finished.
I see.
It's kind of you always have things to add, things to improve, details to that will make the game better. So it's like you are always abandoning a project at some point. Like you're just putting your I don't know your dedication to the project and
I
say,
see.
okay, this is the point I stop doing this and I'm going to start doing this other thing. So that's hard to do too, but at some point it's mandatory because you have to stop doing that if that's not working or it's the game you have finished and it's not going to get. You can improve the projects every time and all the time and forever, but that's not going to give you more money. So at some point you have to stop and say, okay, this is not going to sell more games. This is just the details that add nothing into the main experience. So I have to stop this and start a new project that's going to create something new again.
I see. Do you always know, by the way, when to stop and when to like move to another project?
When now?
Like, no. Like in the past, did you always knew? Did you always knew when to like
Uh,
stop and like
I
say,
think you
okay, I have to
know.
move into other direction, like make a new
I,
game?
I I think you know a bit late. You always
I see. Like you
you always
always
try
add more,
to.
right? And
Yeah,
you
you always
realize
want
that
to add
you
more and
had to
more. Yeah, and
stop.
so at some point you say this makes no sense because nobody's playing to that. Sometimes you are adding things that maybe nobody is going to discover because probably you sell a game, the game is bought. Our previous game, Gramaya, was we sold like 50,000 copies of
Okay.
the game. But I think reaching the final boss, it was like a less than 1% of all of those. So maybe
Okay, that's not a lot of players.
yeah, so maybe from 50,000 people, maybe I don't know, maybe 500, 100 killed the final boss. And so you're working for 100 people, making details that nobody's going to see. It's strange.
Does it
So at
make you
some point you
sad,
have
by the
to.
way? Does it make you sad?
It's sad at some point. It makes sense if people that reach the final battle maybe some comment or make a review or send
Okay,
you a message
okay.
and say I love the final battle or something like that makes sense. But if you don't receive any feedback about the final boss, you don't even know if somebody beat him or not.
True.
So
Understandable,
it's
yeah.
kind of I don't know. You don't know if anyone has enjoyed that battle. That's not the present. I will say that's kind of leaves you with something you don't know. It's like I want to know if
It's like
this was,
questioning yourself, right?
yeah,
So is it good or
yeah,
not? Yeah.
yes, like yeah, more questions to answer. Like why?
I see. I see. Okay. So, and throughout the developer journey that you already had, like, how have you changed as a person in other territories of your life? Like, what skills have you picked up, and also how have you changed as a person in other territories of your life? So, not in the video game industry side, but in other territories. From being a game dev yourself.
I don't know. I'm I'm very consistent from I tend to think that I haven't changed anything from
Okay.
when I was 10 years old.
Okay.
So today I'm kind of this um, hyper rationalist mind that I try to rationalize everything and think about everything in a very rational way.
Okay.
So it's not I don't usually change my mind very often. It's like I do things because I can rationalize them. I can think about them in some way. So it's like I don't change my mind. I don't change the way I do things. I'm always kind of the same. Probably mm, the main change or the main evolution I've had these years is from being a developer to direct a team of 25 people.
I see.
So maybe that's the main change, but I don't feel like I've changed anything. I just learned a few things about how to get budget and how to manage the budget and how to
I see.
manage people,
I see.
but not I don't feel that has changed me. It's like a new ability I've acquired and now I
A new skill,
can,
right?
yeah, yeah. Maybe it's uh you always has this as a game developer you always have this imposter syndrome that you always think that you can't do that what you have promised. And maybe now that I've directed a small team of people, I know I can do it again. So
I see.
maybe now I know I can make a $1 million project, $5 million project. That's going to work. A $100 million project, I'm not. I better not,
That's a high
because
stake for you, even still.
yeah, that's still too far away from me. But I think I can manage $5 million projects. So maybe that's the main evolution. You grow as a developer and you know you can do bigger things. You know what's your expertise, you know what you're better at and what you're not, and you have to delegate it to someone that's better than you. So that's something you learn. I don't think, as I told you before, I don't think that has changed me, but yeah, of course, you grow as a developer, and you know your weaknesses and
I see.
your strong. Yeah, so that's the main change probably you see when you evolve as a professional.
I see. I see. And as you were speaking, that you were like the creator of this company of yours, and you managed people to work for you and as a team. Like, how could you describe yourself as a boss? Like, how could you? What things you would say about yourself in a very honest way, if it's
I'm
possible? Like, how could you?
I'm the boss I would like to have.
Okay.
That's again like with the games, probably that's not for everyone.
Okay.
So I try to hire people that are somewhat like me,
Okay.
that are um, that are nice people, that they get along right with everyone,
Okay.
and they are professionals. They are uh, very invested into something.
I see.
So I try to get around people that are like me, and I try to be the boss I would like to have, and I hope that works. I try to be nice to people and try to keep them motivated and keep to be flexible enough. Okay, but yeah, I suppose sometimes you have to be strict about deadlines or these kind of things, and yeah, at some points, yeah, they have to they have to bear with me. They have to um, yes understand that I can be
Strict.
too
Yeah.
pressing, yeah, to yeah, too hard with them because we have to reach some deadline or to launch at some point. So yeah, creating games is hard.
I
and
see.
the projects are very difficult to create. You can't have bugs. You have to deliver on time.
True. True.
The game has to be perfect. Every line of code counts. You can so it's a hard process. So you have to get around nice people and professional people so that the project comes along because otherwise it's not going to work.
I see.
So I guess I'm a good boss at sometimes and a bad boss at other times. I don't know. I don't know.
I
You have
see.
to ask my workers, I guess.
No, I believe in you. I believe you. I believe you. Okay, and do you believe, by the way, in perfect synergy between people? Speaking of you being a good and a bad boss at the same time, like, do you believe in the perfect synergy between people, between team members?
I think people is not they are not machines,
Okay.
so they have up and downs, and everyone, even me, has up and downs in productivity. Sometimes you have a bad day for something, and that
Okay.
you bring that into your job. So sometimes you have to understand people and that people have other problems and they have lives, and this is just the job, even though for me it's very important, or for the team, for the company, or for whatever, but people have their own lives.
True.
So you have to understand that too, and sometimes people have a hard time, and that's part of having a team, and
True.
sometimes people need time away, people need to rest. We haven't. When I started doing games, uh, the crunch was the way to make games, and I have tried not to do any crunch. I'm the only one crunching in my studio. I crunch really hard, but I try not anyone to
You
crunch.
work so they can
Anyway.
sleep, right?
Yeah, yeah, I do something like that. Yeah,
I see. I
I
see.
don't sleep, in fact.
Nice. But that's the passion in you, right? So it's
Oh yeah,
important to have, and that's how we can see that you are dedicated to your project. So it's important, in my opinion. Yeah.
yeah. Someone has
True.
to get the
You're the
the
one who is carrying everything on his
yeah,
back, right? So,
yeah. That's it. Someone has to do that. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me know if you have any questions. Hölgyek, urak, bármi kérdés? Bármi kérdés? Bármi kérdés? Let me know. I know a lot of you are lurkers around this time of the day. It's Friday, but still wake up and ask anything that you would like to. Hölgyek, urak, bármi kérdés? Kérdeztek nyugodtan. Do you know, by the way, for the future, how many updates would you like to release for Toy Tactics, by the way, or what will be the red button that we were talking about that you have to push that it says stop?
Yeah, we have been in early access for 1 year and a half.
Okay,
So we have already updated the game like 5 times.
okay,
We released different gameplay modes, released bosses, released different
factions.
campaigns.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and now the multiplayer. So I think I wouldn't like to add anything else into the game because the game is like 30 hours long right now, and that's a
Okay.
lot
True.
for an
True. True.
indie game.
True. True. True.
So I think that's enough. I would like to create a, I don't know, Toy Tactics 2 or something in which
Okay.
we do different things and different factions and whatever. But I think this game is pretty complete right now. And if you, the only thing I would like to add is an editor for level editor,
Okay.
battle editor. We have a creative mode. We have a sandbox mode in which you can place any unit you would like and make battles with 1,000 units against 1,000 units. You can place 1,000 catapults or whatever. So it's a lot of fun, but you can't edit the scenario. So I would like to be able to do something like that, or to use the workshop in Steam. These kind of things will be really interesting for us at this point. But the game itself, it's pretty complete, and I can't think of any more ideas to add into the game because I added them all. So,
Okay. Okay. I see. I
so
see.
if you try it and find new ideas to add, or find something that we could or the game could benefit from, let me know.
Okay. I will think of some, and if I come to an idea, I will tell you. But by the way, so as an idea, we were speaking of, like, have you ever been thinking about Toy Tech 6 being in a like physical tabletop game? Because it could make
Oh
sense,
yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah, that figures were part of that. Yeah,
Oh, okay,
and
okay, okay.
and making the game VR so you can play and
Oh, nice,
yeah,
nice.
even picking the units with your hands and
Nice, nice,
placing
nice,
somewhere.
nice. By the
Yeah.
way, by the way, I have an idea for you. I remember a game called which I was obsessed with on PlayStation 3. It was a PlayStation 3 exclusive. It was if I remember correctly, the name of the game was Eye of Judgment, and it has cards. And
Huh?
PlayStation 3 had this camera with a stand, and you
Oh.
had to scan the codes. It wasn't QR code, it was AR code, if I remember correctly. It was AR codes, and you had these physical cards that you could buy. There were like
Hmm.
6 or 7 factions, like there was Undead section, Human, Elf, and all kinds of these fantasy factions in which there were like 32 cards, if I remember correctly. And you could like use those cards and put onto a table, and if the camera could scan those codes, that they appeared on the screen. So
Uh-huh.
it would make sense for you to have like that option as well. Like that's an
Yeah,
idea.
we do that, for example, for the multiplayer mode, something like that. But you buy the units,
Yeah, exactly,
so
exactly.
so you have a budget, and it's
Yeah,
like okay, this is the objective. You
I
have
know
to
it's a crazy
conquer
idea,
this
but
area. No, no, no. It makes sense. It makes sense. But we don't we as we are a very small company, we try to avoid making physical
yeah,
things
yeah, I get it.
unless we have the budget, because creating physical things is another kind of budget, and you have to produce the things, you have to distribute them, sell them. It's kind of a struggle, yeah, for us. But yeah, I would like to do that. I would like to sell figures. I would
True,
like
true,
to make
true.
a
Let me know.
tabletop
Let me know
game.
if they are available to
Yeah.
buy. Okay. Okay, and so you were speaking of multiplayer mode, by the way. So what about ranked
Mhm.
mode? Do you plan to add ranked mode, or is it already in the game? Like ranked
It's already
mode?
in the game.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
already. Okay, 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 okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
You can. It's just the multiplayer game. We have two modes for multiplayer game. One is competitive, so it's 1 versus 1, and you have to play a battle. It's 5 minute battle.
Okay.
You have to destroy the enemy or conquer the center of the map, or well, sometimes not the center, but conquer some area in the map to win. So
I
it's a
see.
5 minute battle in which you are going to plan. You are going to buy anything. You say, okay, this is a samurai map. There is fog or something, so I buy samurai units or not. So you say, okay, I'm going to play this tactic. I'm going to base my army in cavalry or in archers or in infantry. I'm going to have a very big army or kings. I'm going to get kings and queens, and they're going to cooperate themselves. They're going to be strong units. I'm going to base my army into that. And these spells and these relics. So I'm going to play, I don't know, the ninja approach or the pirate approach or the charge approach. I'm going to base my cavalry in cavalry. I'm going to change charge against everything. So you plan, uh, buy your units and spells, enter the battle, then you see your enemy and what he has bought. You say, okay, if I have this, he has this, I have to execute the plan this way. So you plan, execute, succeed or fail, and try again. So the idea
I
is to
see.
rematch again and say, okay, yeah, you won with that cavalry, but now you're going to face my heroes, and that's not, your cavalry is not going to work again against my new strategy. I'm going to buy spells to block the charge. I'm going to buy spells to freeze your units. I don't know. So the idea is these like 5 minute battles with very different approaches. So you try different strategies and try to win. The other mode is cooperative, so it's like two players playing together against waves of enemies. So it's like half an hour of battle in which you are going to conquer camps, get reinforcements from that camps, keep those camps conquered for you, and repel the incoming waves so that you can create more and more units and get ready for the final battle.
I see. I see. Okay. And so, as for the player versus player multiplayer mode, can you see your game be as a tournament game? Like people can like play money matches for it, or even host tournaments.
We wanted to create a YouTube tournament
Okay.
so that YouTubers
Sorry.
could play against each other and make this quadrant to make
Okay.
this uh, eighth of the final. So you have this who wins goes to the next round. So these kind of things. It was the tournament was manual, It was like, okay, you have to play against this one. You set a friend match between the two players, so the one who wins is going to go to the next round. That's not implemented into the game, but yeah, we wanted to do that. It's a very competitive game, and see this something like a 5 round match. So you have to win 3 times, or you have to win
Best of
five
five,
times.
yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting with our game because you are going to try one approach, and that's not going to work for the next. So what are you going to do next? How do you win 5 times in a row?
Yeah.
So that's interesting with our mechanics. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was asking this question by the way because I can see for me as a player that a lot of like multiplayer oriented games have been successful for years since they had this tournament option and or even like bigger tournament organizers who offered money to the I don't know for first 3 places or first I don't know 8 places because people like to compete, right? And even if
Oh, yeah.
there is something on the table, then the stake rises up for them. So it's even more interesting to compete. So yeah, yeah. And your
We
game
wanted
is
to
very
appeal.
unique, and your game is very unique and very approachable for that thing too. So that's why I asked.
Yeah, and
Because
in fact, the multiplayer is very unique too because
yeah,
usually in RTS games you don't have 5 minute battles.
true,
It's
true,
like
true.
a 40-minute
Yeah,
battle in
very
which you
long
have to
ones. Yeah,
build a base and produce units, and so our approach is battle centered. So you buy your units, set an army. Our approach is very much like um, war games, tabletop war games in which you have your army and you play with that because you have to set your units and you don't paint them. They're already painted, but you set your army, you set your plan, and you try to execute it instead of half an hour because in real time or into the real world you have to play with the distances and firing and throwing dice and everything. In our case, it's all automatic, so you can set the same kind of gameplay and play it in 5 minutes because everything is going to unleash, which is going to develop in 5 minutes. It's going to be very fast. But the gameplay is the same. So it's kind of a war game that you play in 5 minutes, and it's only about deciding what units to buy, what spells to use, what relics to apply, and that's all. You go into battle. 5 minutes, try again. Now you can try. You died with the Roman Empire using I don't know hard units or heavy units. Now you can try with the samurai army using archer cavalry, and now you can try a different approach and make this harassing the enemy units, something like that, and hope they don't have all the charge cavalry or damaging spells that are going to hurt you a lot.
I see. I see. Okay. Okay. Nice. Okay. Questions, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know. Let us know. Questions. Questions. No questions.
They're shy.
Yeah. No, it's usually like it's late and it's Friday, so I know most of the people are like sleepyhead and rather ask when the stream has been closed. I know that they will come up with questions on Discord, but yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Is there something, by the way, we did not like mention and you would like to talk about, like anything
I
that we
think
haven't
I've
touched?
talked a lot.
Okay, and I love that.
I don't know if you have any other questions.
I have. So I have one actually more question. If nobody has any question on the stream, so we talked about like your future plans. So
Mhm.
what game would you like to make if you would happen to like close with the development state of Toy Tactics and you would start making a new game? So what would be the very first idea that you would like to pick? If it's a spoiler, then okay, don't talk about it. But if you are willing to
No, the,
make
the
into
problem
spoilers,
the problem is that I don't have a final idea. I have
oh,
several
okay,
ideas
okay.
that could work, but I have
How do you pick? How do you pick of those? So let's talk about that.
it depends on the size of the team you can manage. For
Okay,
example, if Toy Tactics works and you have enough money to build a new game,
okay,
you can more or less calculate the size of the project you want to face. If toy tactics doesn't work very well, and I have to do it all myself. I have to pick one of the ideas I can face myself. So
Okay.
it depends on the size of the team I'm able to hire. But yeah, I have different ideas from mobile to PC and consoles and VR. So, so there are a lot of different ideas I can use. Most of them are based on physics because I love that. I love the approach of physics-based things. So a couple of easy ones for me could be destructive game about destroying things using physics. That's one approach that I like a lot, and I never have the time to
Red
face.
Faction was a crazy franchise about physics, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it's a good idea. And the other one is it's about using this game, this knowledge from this game to create some
Okay.
kind of very specific tower defense.
Okay.
Okay, it wouldn't be like this one is not this game. The tactics is not an RTS. It's a different thing. It's kind of an RTT, a real-time tactics game
I see.
without resource management, something like that. I would like to make a tower defense, not a classic tower defense, but something different, based on physics and with a different approach.
Okay. Okay. Exclusive information, I guess. So we could
Oh
say.
yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you
yeah.
for that. Okay. Okay. Thank
I
you
know
for that.
nobody's going to copy my idea because my
No,
ideas are so
we can
strange
delete this
that
part of the stream then if you don't want to people to hear that.
no, no, no. Don't worry because I have very strange ideas. So I was scared when I launched. When I launched Chromaya, I was scared anyone could copy the idea. But today, I haven't seen any other games like that one. And it happened the same with this game. The tactics is about drawing formations. I was scared someone was going to do that. In fact, there were some adverts in mobile that were saying that you could draw formations for your mobile phone, and it was just false. It was not the real game. Today, some people see my trailers and say, "Oh, for this is for real. The final version of those mobile adverts game that were fake, and we never got to draw the formation. So this is a real game that does that." It was. I was scared at that time because
It's
I thought,
crazy how people are down to copy ideas these days, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I thought they were making those games for mobile, but that was just fake. It was why you are advertising something that you are
That's
not
internet,
making.
right?
Yeah,
That's the
was
power of
strange.
internet. People can access easily everything and they are down to be famous with others' ideas, sadly. But yeah, like you said, I think if somebody is creating unique things like you, it's way hard to copy those people and their projects, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's difficult. In fact, when I
Because
had
all
this,
the small aspects will make a bigger picture, and in the bigger
yeah,
picture, it will be still unique, like not just the small aspects of that bigger
and
picture.
the final result is is a product of the process of development too.
True.
When you have the initial idea, I had an idea for this game. I told some people, very close people, the idea of this game when I had the first idea. They didn't understand the idea at all, but they got the idea in their heads and they tried to understand something. And now that I've built the game has nothing to do with that idea anymore because the idea has evolved so much
I see.
that the game is completely different. But people see the game and say, "Oh, this is the idea you told me 8 years ago," and it's like, yeah,
It's totally
kind of.
different.
Yeah, but I never thought of the game like this. My idea
I see.
was different. It was the same idea. I want to control my units. I want to control my units drawing. I want to be the general. I want to create a new way to control RTS units, to control my army. I want to make it very accessible for everyone. So all this stays in the game, and that's the game. But the way I thought that was going to be done is completely different. But for the real version we have right now. So I guess the idea is the same, but the way we all think about the idea is different, and how you start prototyping the idea and how you evolve is going to change completely how it works in your mind. So ideas are worth nothing until you develop them.
True, 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 true. Okay, so what would be your advice for developers who start their journey ahead of
My main
making
advice
games?
is
Okay.
because we all like to add things and even more things, and that's my main advice for anyone that wants to create a game from scratch. The smallest possible game they can, that's fine. That's the main advice and the most difficult to follow, because we all go mad adding new is to try to create 5 minute awesome. That's my advice. I don't sometimes I even follow the advice, okay, but
To follow, right?
yeah, if you want to do that, I would recommend to try our demo tactics that shows the full game. In the demo shows you how to drag a formation, how to use the spells, how to do everything. You see the core of the game in 5 minutes. A lot of things happening in that demo. It's kind of that's designed for expos and for people in 5 minutes. So you just sit down somewhere 5 minutes and understand the game, because they are going to try, but it's kind of hectic. So do a lot of things in 5 minutes. But that's for to sell to a publisher or to about. It's kind of okay. You're going to understand the game in 5, and that's going to explain everything for you.
Okay.
That's much better than creating 3 hours here and there that we're going to feel afterwards, because communicate to anyone.
Sure.
So try to get the core, the most fun part of put that into 5 minute demo, and that's the best to get funding or to sell your idea. That's my best advice.
Thank you for. Okay, so closing question: if you could like think of your games that you like give to the players out there who are playing your games, what are your games?
What I an experience to
Okay.
make something that they are not going to experience
Okay.
in Gormaya. It was about being a space pilot
Okay.
and being the and doing very complex
Did you
maneuvers
want to
flying
be a
around.
space pilot, by the way, in your life,
I,
throughout
when
some
I was
your
a
life?
child, I wanted to be a fighter pilot.
Okay. Okay.
So maybe
So that's you in the
somewhat
game that I
related.
was talking about
Yeah,
before, right?
yeah. Maybe that
Or
was
your
yeah,
dream, we could say.
yeah, because that's kind of fun, and you always see in the Star Wars movies, or you
True.
always see
True.
this
True.
flying around and avoiding objects and asteroids
Yeah.
and shooting, and
Chasing
so that was
somebody.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the experience I wanted to deliver
I
with
see. I
Chromaya.
see.
And now with the tactics, the experience is to be a general. So if you were going to command an
It's
army,
also you, right? The
what would
boss
you
of
do?
your
Oh
team.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
I
yeah.
love chess. I love strategy
Yeah.
games.
Nice.
So
Nice.
that's
Nice.
yeah. But usually when I play strategy games, RTSs, they are kind of uh, you're an engineer because you are trying to improve the producing process of creating units. So you have to
True.
mine resources, build buildings, do in the right order so that you can build the most
And your
units.
game is more about the tactics, the core
Yeah,
gameplay aspect of it. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I see.
So real normal or classical TSs are more about optimizing the producing process, and my game is about controlling an army. So you're the general, you're going to control your units, and you have to win the battle. This is what you have. This is what you have to do. Solve the problem.
I see. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Like I said before our interview, I will need some of your more minutes. But for those who are watching us, thank you that you have been here with us. And like I said before, it was an honor for me that you joined us for today. So thank you too as well that you joined us. And for those who will watch back the VOD or watch this live or will watch back the edited version of this video interview with Antonio and me later, thank you for being here with us, and have a great day or night depending where you live. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you so much.
Everyone.
My pleasure.
And don't